Manchester United won, Celta Vigo won, we're going to Stockholm, Manchester United in the final of the Europa League. I know people are going to be negative and I'll give it a few minutes in a couple of minutes, but first of all, life is for enjoyment. Football, that is why we watch football. We are in the final of the Europa League. Just enjoy it. Enjoy it. Manchester United in the Europa League final. We win it, we're in the Champions League. Look, there are issues, but there's issues in life. Sometimes you just got to smile and enjoy it. And I tell you what, that chance for Guidetti or whoever he was, the City reject at the end, I don't think it was as easy as they're making out. But I just thought that is, it comes in threes. They get a late equaliser, Baily gets sent off, and then they get that chance. And my heart was in my mouth, but that's why we watch football. Sometimes we've had it where it goes against us. Sometimes you've got it where he misses like that. And we're in the final and we live to fight another day in this tournament. That we seem to just have this really weird relationship with the Europa League because we've not been dominant in any of our games. Anderlecht extra time, Celta Vigo hanging on at the end, but we are in the final. I don't know who we're playing yet. I'll have to have a look at that in a moment because all I'm bothered about is Manchester United. A European final and a trophy we've never won. A chance to get in the Champions League. We can't play as bad as that again. So, brilliant. Absolutely ecstatic. I really do not want to see any negativity in the main because I agree we made it hard for ourselves and I agree there are team selection issues and I agree we parked the bus and I agree that at Old Trafford it's not the way to go and I agree that we should be playing way more expansive than that and we made it very, very hard for ourselves. But the bottom line is that is almost, it's not irrelevant. We definitely should talk about it. But if you'd offered me final at the end of this game, I'd have took it. Because I know, as many of you know, have been watching football for years, football can be a hard mistress. And it can, even the sending off. I thought the sending off on Eric Bailly, for those who have not seen it, he puts his hand out. It's soft. That Guidetti deserved to miss because he dived. But there'll be no retraction of that red card because when you put your hand up, you leave yourself wide open. And justice was served. Justice was served with that Guidetti because he dived like he'd been hit by Mike Tyson when actually he'd had a little tiny bitch slap. And then he missed the sitter at the end. But the Celta Vigo player who got sent off, I don't think he did a lot wrong, apart from being a hothead on the side because he probably felt aggrieved. But that was massive because if we'd gone down to 10 and they'd kept 11, God, with 10 minutes, about 7, 8 minutes, that would have been really difficult to deal with. So, look, to walk away, I think that game hopefully will be a bit like our season. If we can somehow beat whoever we get in the final and walk away from this season and go, we've been atrocious at times, but we've got Champions League football, then I'll be happy. Because that result tonight is like that. We weren't very good tonight, but somehow we've won it and we are through. We've won the tie. And that's all that matters. That is really all that matters from tonight. You're always better criticising and dealing with your issues from a position of strength. If that goal goes in with that last kick and we're out, can you imagine what everyone would be on here now? The thin line, but the reality is still the same. We're through, but that was atrocious tactics and not a great performance. We're out. That's atrocious tactics. Is he the right manager? What's going on at Manchester United? You see what I mean? Such thin lines. But I can't help but smile because I'm just really, really happy and excited about this Europa League final. I've enjoyed the Europa League ever since the knockout stage. I've resented it up until after Christmas. But as soon as the knockout stage started, it just feels quite exciting. Unfortunately, I don't think we've really arrived in it yet. We haven't really had any very good performances. But in the final, we're not going to go into the final 1-0 up. We're not going to go into the final having to defend a lead and park the bus. We're going to have to go into the final in a one-off game and win that game. So it's a different ball game, totally. So it's Ajax in the final. I thought Leon had made it 4-1. Somebody said I misread that. So Ajax in the final as we. So it's in a roundabout way, it has ended up how we thought it would do. Yeah. Very, very, very happy. I'm very happy. I can't get cross because I'm just relieved. And football is about winning. I've got to be critical because I can see some of the live comments. Man of the match for me is very, very difficult to pick a man of the match. It really is. I know a lot of people are saying Fellaini. I think that's. Should we give it Fellaini just because I'm in a good mood? Let's give it to Fellaini because the bad side of that, it just shows you how bad the game was. He scored a good header. Marcus Rashford's cross was just, mwah. It was fantastic. It was just brilliant. And Fellaini did what many people haven't done in a United shirt this season and scored a sitter. So fair play to him. But Fellaini gets it for scoring the goal and running around and trying hard because. It wasn't a great performance from him. He did his 5-yard pass as well. He got in the way of people well, and he kept running. So it was a really workmanlike performance. So to give him man of the match is probably about right. I was impressed by Mkhitaryan, and I don't think it's any shock or surprise that when a team attacks us and there's more space, Mkhitaryan's a better player. I thought Pogba played well. I think Rashford had a bit of a thankless task up front, and his assist was just, like I say, absolutely superb. Romero played well. Valencia okay. I think down the left-hand side, Darmian and Blind were very suspect tonight. Bailly, I think Bailly and Valencia play better in the Premier League. I think the Europa League, because it's a little bit slower, it's not more, beast mode gets reduced down to monster mode. And I don't think they were bad, but... Bailly let himself down there. You cannot raise your hands. You can't raise your hands. And I love Bailly. He's been fantastic this season. And, tonight's not the night to start going, we're going to lose because we've not got Bailly, because we can talk about that in the days to come and we're going to have to find a way around it. It's really disappointing. But the red card is soft. The ex-Man City striker makes a total meal of it, but he's got every right to do it in the modern game because he has been touched around the face. It's not even a bitch slap. It's like itching his ear. But when you raise your hands, you leave yourself wide open, and we won't be able to rescind that red card. It is a red card, and disappointing because he's a very important player. Herrera was fantastic. I was going to give Herrera man of the match, to be honest, because the unsung hero who's playing so many games for us and ran that midfield and got exposed a lot because Pogba and Fellaini kept bombing forward and they were cutting through us. I thought Herrera played really well. Lingard, I'm not going to be negative about anybody tonight because we've made the final, but again, I don't really understand just watching that Guidetti shot again. It's just total justice because the way he dived, absolute cheat. But yeah, Lingard, not very good from him, but we're in the final. In the final, you can't keep picking these players. You can't. Where is Juan Mata? He's got to play in the final. Get rid of Lingard. I'd even think, Lingard just has got to come out of the team. He's just like I said in the game. He's got the upper body strength of a 4-year-old toddler, and just doesn't hold the ball up. He's all effort, but we need some talent in that position. If you're going to play Fellaini, who's just all effort, you can't have Lingard, who's just all effort. He's our right-sided attacker. We've got to have somebody with a bit of flair and creativity. It's got to be Juan Mata. Him and Valencia do very well up that side, so get Mata in the final. But the final is in future. What did I think about the tactics? That's what somebody just said there. Alvin Elm, we're going to the final. Yes, we are going to the final. What did I think about the tactics? I thought they were wrong. I do. I think we're, I wouldn't go as far as to say we're lucky because it was 1-1. They didn't take their chances. But we're Manchester United at home. He moans about the crowd and says the crowd have got to be up for it. But you've got to give the crowd something to be up for. The first 10 minutes of that game, we're playing defensive football and letting Celta Vigo attack us. Well, the crowd's bubbling. The crowd's bubbling before the game because they're excited. And then he turns the heat down. And we go from a simmer to just hot water. It's not... And then the goal goes in and we're bubbling again. And then second half, simmer down to hot water because he's just parking the bus and playing on the attack and the counter-attack at Old Trafford. And we're not used to that. And if maybe we've got to get used to that. I personally won't be happy with that if that happens. It's not what Manchester United's all about. I think we could have gone at them tonight and put that tie to bed. It's exciting at the end and we are in the final anyway, so I'll take it. But they weren't that good that we couldn't have just gone at them a little bit more. When we pressed them after the Fellaini goal, when we pressed them and tried to get the second goal, we were a better side and they struggled. When we gave them loads of the time on the ball, they passed their way through us because they are technical players. But when we pressed them, they made mistakes. And that's what we're used to. Press them. We're at Old Trafford. Press them, get the crowd up, make them nervous. How many Spanish teams over the years have come to England and been dominated by the high press, the Premier League way of playing, and the crowd getting up for it. I've seen Real Madrid get turned over at bloody Anfield 4 or 5-0, so it can be done. I think Mourinho needs to sort that out next season, because the great thing about the final is we can't park the bus. We can't park the bus in the final and hope to nick a 1-0. We're going to have to go and express ourselves and win a game of football. But this whole way of it's wrong today. It's wrong today, and it was wrong against Anderlecht, but it was wrong today because if that Guidetti gets it right, we're out, and we're all sat here going, what ridiculous tactics to play at Old Trafford, negative, parking the bus. It's not the United way. He's got to stop doing this. So that there has to be. I don't feel like doing it, but there has to be some recognition of that the tactics were poor tonight. But you know what? This is the season in general. The season in general has not been very good. We've missed chances. We've been poor at times. We've played, against the top 5 teams. I don't think we've scored. We've played negative football. There's loads to be solved in the summer, but we're in the final. We've got one chance. With one game, not one chance. We've got one game and one chance. We've got one game to get in the Champions League. And if we get in the Champions League, we take it. We'd all take it. We know we would. So despite the badness, despite the missed chances, despite the negative performance, despite the parking the bus, we're still there in the final. And I don't think we'll play that way in the final because we'll get beat. If we play like that against Ajax, who are a footballing side, who play expansive football, if we sit back and we play weak players like Lingard and slow players like Fellaini, they'll pass their way through us. We're going to have to play. I'm not saying Fellaini shouldn't play in the final, by the way. I personally probably wouldn't pick him because of the opposition that we've got. But his threat is in the opposition's penalty box. So we've got to go forward. We've got to move forward. We've got to play expressive football ourselves. I'm very excited. I don't know what team we're going to play. It's a job for another day. But people are talking about Baily being missed. Smalling and Blind, centre-back. Smalling, Jones. Yeah. Fire Squad World says, Mark, you're crazy. These same players should play the final. They deserve it. We'll get beat, mate. I don't want you to drag me down because I'm happy to be in the final. But if you just watch that game, it was a really poor performance, defensive performance. And Celta Vigo missed the sitter at the end to make it 2-1. If we play that side today and that way today, we'll get beat. He has got to play. Juan Mata has got to come into that team. We have got to play with a little bit more flair and creativity. I think you can get away with Herrera, Pogba and Fellaini in the midfield 3, but it's got to be Mata on the right, Mkhitaryan on the left, Rashford up front. And I would play De Gea in goal. I know people really, really like Romero, but I just feel, as I've said so many times, that when you've got the tyres on your car and they're worn and you've got a brand new set of tyres, put the new set of tyres on. Why take the risk? De Gea's the better goalkeeper than Romero. And maybe sentimentality would suggest Romero should play in the final because he's played every round, but he punched a cross with 10 minutes to go that led to the build up to that goal. De Gea would have caught it. I'm not blaming him for the goal at all. I would go for the better goalkeeper. That's me. But this is chats for another day. We're in the final, folks. There is no negativity. We're in the final. Very, very happy. And I hope you all are as well, because we deserve something from this. We deserve something from this this season. It's been... I'm just watching the goal back. It's partly Bay's fault. Yeah. It's actually the person who got sent off who scores it, isn't it? And Bay should do better. Oh, who cares? Who cares? We're in the final. The rivals will be going, the bitters will be going, oh, we're rubbish, fluky United, this, that and the other. If we're fluky in the final, I'll tell you what, I'll take it now. If he picks that team and we fluke the final, I don't care. As long as we're in the Champions League this summer, that's all that matters. It really is. Thanks everybody for watching. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I will be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. with the Transfer Daily Show. Interesting targets to talk about. We've still got a chance of being in the Champions League. And tomorrow night, 8:30, Spurs preview. I mean, it's just thick and fast, isn't it? But I'm just going to enjoy tonight. Yeah, there's things to be concerned about. There's performances in that team that weren't good enough. There's collective tactics which were very, very concerning. There's the loss of Bailly. But it's... the Celta Vigo player doesn't do anything, but that Guidetti, the way he goes down, it's like he's been shot. It is a disgrace. Oh no! The other one deserves the red card as well. I couldn't see it from the angle, but he actually gets his hand through. They're both very, very soft, but they both raise their hands. There we go. The Reds go marching on, Darth Vader. Ultimately, however you want to feel tonight, tonight's not the night really to be negative. Tonight's the night to be positive. We're going to a final. I'll see you all tomorrow, 7 a.m. Make sure you've subscribed to the channel if you're new. Thanks everybody for watching. Drop a like. We're in the final, and I'll see you all tomorrow, where we can start to, you know, I know we all want to. There's a little bit about me talking about who's going to play in the final, talking about we can't win it if we play like that. We'll talk about that over the days and weeks to come. We're in the final. Let's work towards it. We're going to a bloody cup final. We're going to our first European Cup final since 2008. Nearly 10 years. It's a cup final in Europe. Brilliant. Really excited. And if you're going to be one of the few fortunate ones who can get a ticket for Stockholm, bring it home. Bring it home. I'll speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching. Smile on your face.